Running out of time, but I'm almost done. Stick around and I'll show you how we got here.
What you want, what you want. Come on.
2 weeks into October, and as you can see, all I got up is the facade, but we need to start adding details to all this stuff, right? We need fence, we need monsters and pumpkins and all kinds of stuff. Well, the first thing we need to do is go ahead and just finish hiding the house. And to hide the house, I'm going to use some of this weed block material that you can pick up like at Lowe's or Home Depot. Great thing about this stuff is it's matte and it absorbs lights at night, so there's no shine. So when the lights hit it, everything just fades away in the background. It does a good job of hiding.
Hey, look, it's Unhinged whack-a-mole game. Look, whack, gone, whack, gone, whack, 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 gone.
I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but the closer I get to Halloween and dealing with all this junk, the messier this garage gets. Ignore all that. It is what it is. I've been working late trying to get everything else done, and I've taken zero time to put anything back up in here. But before we can get to this fence, I'm prepping some new ways to tag these and to actually stake that foam fence into the ground. Because the first year I built that thing, I never really even spent the time to properly set that up. It was just kind of half the stuff 90% of the stuff I do on Halloween is like on a whim, right? Besides all the props that we build on the YouTube channel between Halloween and then the only other thing that had some thought process go into it has been that facade. And even last year I started it way too late in the season and did the same thing again this year, so I need to get past that. But anyway, I got a bunch of little blocks to put out, and then I'm staking. I'll show you guys later how this all goes together, but anyway, I need this. I'm attaching some little blocks on here, give myself some attach points for the fence later on. Got 32, 34, something like that of these to get knocked out, so I need to get these knocked out and we'll get moved over here and start putting the fence up. And I'll show you how it works out there. It'll be easier to on the video thing showing you this stuff, and yeah, anyway.
Whoa, man, that's a whole lot of wood pieces.
Yep, there's 64 of them.
64? I thought you just said that you had to make 32 of these things.
Well, yeah, that's correct. And each one of them needs 2 pieces of wood.
Okay, so like math and stuff, right? So 32 plus 2 is 64. Wait, well, hold on, man. Your math doesn't work.
Just trust me, man. We're going to need all these wood pieces. Our little fence mounts are done. They don't look like much, but trust me, this will be a lot better than how I was doing it before. So now I got to drag the fence out.
Choo-choo! Chicka, 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 choo-choo!
What are you doing?
What? Dude, that looks like an old messed up railroad.
No, dude, this is a fence.
Railroad.
Fence.
Railroad.
See? It's a fence.
Man, if you say so. But if you stood a railroad on its side, then you could call it a fence, too.
Touche. All right, so let's talk about these real quick that I put on. They're better, but they're still not, like, the best. But they're working, okay? So I cut each end, as you can see. I got a 45. Then I tagged on these little pieces of wood that we saw earlier. Now, luckily enough, it rained, so the ground was just easy enough for me to drive these straight in. In the past, doing this, when the ground's hard, I had to drive a piece of rebar to the ground first, kind of open it up and then drop this in. Driving that down in, just getting it past these, and I thought I had these measured out perfect. Of course I didn't. And then I'm just screwing directly onto the wood there. And then these points here where this connects, where these 2 pieces go together, I have other pieces of this fencing wood that I'll put in here on top of this and screw it together so that kind of goes away.
Choo-choo! Chugga, 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 chugga. Choo-choo!
Well, look. I don't know what he's doing now. but my cats managed to get up on the roof. I got the fence up last night, that's about it. And now I gotta start my day off by saving the cat. I'm not even in Unhinged gear yet. So, yeah, I'm gonna drag a ladder out, put it over here on the other side of the house. Get this cat off the roof. One thing I'd suggest, if you ever do this, instead of leaving the foam raw like I did, it's probably way more expensive, but hard coat it. So it's like a plastic, and then maybe you can prevent your cats from climbing up the side and getting on the roof. Just a safety tip for today. Okay, so kitty crisis is over. He's off the roof. As a matter of fact, when I went to go get the ladder, he just decided to attach himself back to the house again and crawled down. So whatever, he was crying forever like he couldn't get down, and he got himself down anyway. So let's get some stuff out in this yard. How about that? All right, so tombstones and all that stuff's out, and I think the first plan of attack that I'm really going to do is set tombstones up first, because that really kind of makes an impact on the yard. The goal here today is try to get the tombstones up and out. Deal with all those pumpkins, kind of get that stuff set up, and kind of get this area in here pretty much taken care of, and we'll move to the witches after that. We'll see how far we get.
Hey, man, how much coffee you had to drink?
Man, I don't know. 2 or 3, I think, and a Monster Energy drink, a Red Bull, and a behing, I think.
Yep, that would explain it.
Let's talk about what we got up so far, right? We got pumpkins above here. We put some little bitty ones up top over there. Once they get lights in them, they'll be shining up. So far, it's not too bad, right? You got graveyard going on over here, and it goes across the sidewalk. I am going to try to do witches on the other side, but this is where we're at. Let's go in a little closer. Like, I don't know if this is too much on the facade or whatever, but we've got these pumpkins. And these pumpkins, I don't know if the pumpkins kind of took over the house or what, if that's kind of the theme. This area here, got some of my pumpkins up there that the faces are okay, so I don't display them the best. We got our little dude over here in the corner. He's stuck there, and then we got our pumpkin demon right here in the center, like they're out on this porch. These guys are gonna be here, so I'm thinking I'm gonna do a scarecrow, pumpkin scarecrow right there, and a pumpkin scarecrow right there. That way it kind of sets this section off. I don't know, like the pumpkins have taken over the manor or whatever, or something like that. I want to address this too real quick, because it still boggles my mind that there's so many people that still don't think Mache can last in the rain. It can. It does. If you don't still stuff correctly, it does change the effects of them after some weather. But if you seal it off right, it'll be good to go. I mean, this dude right here, he's all Mache. His chin has fallen down some over the years, and his rib cage has drooped some. But if I didn't tell you that, you really wouldn't know, right? It just looks like a creepy thing. And that skeleton, that rib cage is complete Mache. No wire armature or anything. It's actually Mache. And then we got this groundbreaker here. There's actually a tutorial on how to make this one. He holds up real good because he's got PVC in these arms coming down that hold up, and then the rib cage in there is some tubing and stuff. So he does really good. He's out here all the time too. Once again, all the pumpkins are made out of Mache. They last. This one was made years and years ago. Not as good as the ones we do now. His mouth is sagged, but he's still here. So there's a little give and take, right? I mean, they've lasted. That one's been around for 10 years or something like that. Oh, this little tombstone. This tombstone has an actual how-to to make tombstone out of Mache. And that guy was made out of like cereal boxes and pizza boxes and stuff with Mache. It doesn't have any real structure on the inside. It's gone a good 10 years. Now, if you noticed, the bottom was broken, or is broken now. I stored that thing in the top of my garage, which I normally don't do. And we had extreme heat, and it was kind of bent sideways, and I don't know if it was from the heat. I don't really know what the deal was. I should have like soaked it all with water and tried to loosen it, but I didn't, and I tried to straighten it back up anyway while it was all dry, and I broke it. But whatever, it's still, I just set it out here broken. It's gonna be fine. I got 10 years out of it. 10 years out of pizza box, cereal box, some newspaper, some glue. I'd chalk that up as a win. And then we got this Reaper, which I still really like. He's basically a failure in my opinion. The only reason he could stand up is I have to prop him up with that tombstone. And then this scythe doubles as a tension point to hold him up too. That was a project that I started that I had no real idea how I was going to do him. I just kind of went after it. The structure inside really wasn't strong enough for the twisty turning thing I did, and it wanted to fall down all the time. He is mainly Mache, and then I did try to do some fiberglass resin over the top because it was just would fall. Because the structure wasn't strong enough underneath. It kind of helped out, it kind of didn't, but he still works. Even failures can work. So speaking of failures, these scarecrow bodies here, man, they really need a little bit of a pick-me-up. I'm not going to do anything fancy here. I'm just going to pull off the burlap and expose what's underneath. Then I'm going to attach some more sticks that I literally just found in the yard to the arm sections here. I'm going to secure those into place with a little bit of green tape at first. Then I'm going to go back, add some more sticks to the edges of it, and then I'm going to re-secure all that stuff with a little bit of jute twine. That really kind of holds it together pretty decent. Then after that, we're going to add a little bit of a drop cloth. We're going to put the burlap back on. We're going to hit all of that with some different spray paint, some blacks, some browns, whatever. Just dirty it up a little bit. Then we're going to put the creepy cloth back on top of it, pull the pumpkin head back out, and then look, we're good as new. Not every prop has to be built in the garage or in whatever, the studio, to make sure it looks its absolute best to become something cool for Halloween. Use what you have. You don't have to spend a lot of money. This is one that, yes, is not made by me, right? But it's kind of assembled by me. It's a cheap skull that I had, some costume stuff, and a frickin' bird feeder to make a Grim Reaper. And honestly, I've used it so many times, and to this day, it's one of my favorites. So look, cheap. This is a cheap blow-up mold thing, whatever, Bucky skeleton. And look at this crap I've got. Like, these bones are broke, right? And just some old wire, just anything to kind of hold that BS together to make it look like it's an arm. This looks like total trash, and it is basically total trash. We're making a prop out of total trash. See, this is an old bird feeder thing that came out. You would hang a bird feeder on this one, hang one on this one, and it has some this all comes apart, right? This all breaks down. So by basically using, this old bird feeder that breaks apart and this junk, this guy, he's what, 5 foot tall, 6 foot tall, whatever he is, I'll pull him apart. He goes in this container tub over here with a bunch of other bones, and he stores away. It's not anything to look at, but trust me, I'll show you. Let me put it together, and it looks pretty cool when it's all done. I just want to emphasize, to pull this stuff off, man, if you think you need money or you think you have to have special talent or something, some great artistic talent, you don't. You can build stuff with junk, right? Watch, I'll show you. It's easy.
Dude, there's no way you're making that hunk of crap look like something.
Just step back there, Spanky.
Spanky!
Let me show you
Man,
how
I'll
it's done.
show
First
you,
thing I'm going to do is put an old graduation
wow.
robe on this thing.
Looking good.
Just stay with me. It's all about layers. So next thing we're going to do is put the head into place, and then we're going to take one of these old hoods from an old costume and drape that over the skull.
Ooh, super creepy.
Next, I'm going to do some layers of creepy cloth. This is what really pulls the whole thing together. And just to make a point, I'm going to use these cheap plastic hands on this thing too.
I've got to admit, dude, he looks pretty cool.
Now, is that the most epic Reaper ever? No, it's not. But it's a freaking Grim Reaper made with scraps. Don't have to overcomplicate this whole thing. It's Halloween. How's it fun? Yeah. Do I like to make some crazy stuff like this facade? And just, absolutely, it's fun. I enjoy it. But for those of you out there that are worried about starting up, or you can't do the best, or whatever it is, or don't let that stuff stop you, because you can take junk like this It makes something that looks pretty cool. Trust me, man, the kids will like it. People think it's neat. Guys, thanks for tuning in on the build on this stuff. About 90% of the yard is done. This section of the yard. We got this whole area over here. We're gonna put witches in. But you'll see that next week.
You making something from nothing.